the main like appeal to these is that they're ugly. Is that a carbon footplate? I don't get it. I don't get it. And I agree with you. They are ugly. Alright, I'm starting to see where the $380 came from. Hey, what up and welcome to another episode of Crease Heat, and this is going to be an interesting one because a couple of weeks ago this happened.
I'm a skateboarder, bro, I'm gonna be honest. I was never that good on the bike.
Listen.
Well, the surplus event happened, but what specifically happened that pertains to this video, if you didn't already read the title, was I came across a pretty crazy pair of shoes. Now, this pair of shoes, I have talked a lot of mess about. I still think they're terrible. I haven't really had a proper look at them yet, so we're about to do that. This is going to be the first time me having a proper look at them. Couple of weeks later, they've just kind of sat there. But essentially what happened at the surplus event, they had all the list of things that were happening. One of the things they said were drops at Supplier throughout the day. Not open yet. What is it? 1:15. You open it eventually. Look at the jacarandas. Picturesque. Sydney turned to get on. Alright, I might chill here. I wonder if we can see anything inside. That'd be crazy. Just walk in, the door's open. No. Yeah, you can't see anything from there. I had it in my head that I could potentially get a pair of Undefeated 4s. I lined up, I was the first one there. We go in, I said, oh, did you have any 4s drop? And they said, nah, that's going to be like a separate thing. They must have had some brick by bricks drop at the Nigel thing up there, but because I did see a couple of boxes getting around up there, but I don't know if people brought them. I don't know. That's what they said to me, right? So did you have some 4s dropping? Jordan 4s?
No, not in store. It will be a separate store.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Prior to all of this, there's some young kids there and everything like that, and they're lining up, we're talking, everything like that. One of them actually had watched the channel before. Another one like asked me about the channel and then subscribed and everything, and we were kind of, the third guy, we were kind of like cat and mouse with each other because I thought there was going to be Undefeated 4s. He thought something else. It turns out he was right. We were kind of going back and forth. I was like, what do you think is dropping? He's like, what do you think is dropping? And I'm like, is it something olive green? And he's like, no. And then I was first in line anyway, so like I was going to find out. And he's like, all I can tell you is it's like the third iteration. And I'm like, third iteration? What, shattered backboards? 3.0? Can't see them being like the thing. Then I thought about it. I'm like, the Mars yards. Crazy drop. This might be the craziest shoe I've ever fucking bought. 380 bucks. That's insane. I've been a big hater on these shoes, so let's review them when we get home. Sold out. I got the last pair. How much? You tell me. Someone's already trying to buy it off me. So we get in there. There's nothing on shelf. The Negos were there actually, and I don't know why I didn't cop them. The denim joints, crazy. And they're completely sold out everywhere now, reselling for crazy amounts. But I really like that shoe. Air Force 2, Never really been an Air Force 2 guy. Never really had much to do with an Air Force 2, but that pair, crazy. Anyway, there was another dude that was kind of lined up behind us, and he was already at the counter with a pair of these. So we're like, oh, we got to ask. Homeboy asked. One dude said 10. Another one said 11. And then I was like, yo, I'll have an 11 too. Because apparently I'm an 11 now. My MX 95s are an 11. Whatever. And then the dude behind me was like the only person that didn't get a pair, unfortunately for him. Because he was ahead of the first dude in line, but I don't know. However that worked out. But these guys already knew that it was going to be the Tom Sachs joints. They already knew they were there. They were telling me how much they're going for and all this. I believe they were specifically there to get them to resell them. And I was like, what? I know people like this shoe. There's no way it's gone for that. And then I asked them, I'm like, how much are they worth? Like retail? Because I was still tossing up whether I'm going to get them for this and review them and everything. And they said, oh, like maybe 200-300. I'm like, 300? Damn, that's crazy for them. And like, that's when they were like, dude, they're selling for like 1,500 to 2 grand. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I set my mind on it being the Undefeated 4s, me finally getting the Undefeated 4s for retail, everything like this. When it wasn't the Undefeated 4s, I was defeated, but the thought came in my mind, if I get these, I could potentially do a trade. Before we get into any of that, let's check these bad boys out. These shoes are only valid if worn, and worn to death by you. Posers need not apply. That's what it says on the box. This is the 3rd iteration. The original boxes are crazy that have like tape attached to them and everything. This is kind of like a newer version of that, I would say. Still got all like the crafty look about it without actually being too crazy, but I didn't even tell you the price. These weren't $200 to $300. These were $380. Like the most I've ever spent on a pair of shoes. Insane. But like my thought process at the time was like, if I can trade them for a pair of Undefeated 4s, which people are trying to sell for like $500-600. That's my thought process initially. Let's check these out. The quality of materials is crazy, but these are an ugly as hell shoe. Like, I do not get the hype over these. I love a gum rubber sole. That's not gum rubber, that's like neutral. Is that a carbon footplate? That's crazy. The insole is cork. I have like cork insoles that I put in shoes. Oh my god, that feels crazy, that leather there. Alright, I'm starting to see where the $380 came from. And then we got a spare set of insoles with like a little arch on them. Protons, neutrons, mesh sock liner, the bow line, the king of knots, plutonium, whatever that means. This is our solar system, apparently. No idea what the point of that is, but two bands. I don't get it. I don't get it. And what's crazy about these is when they released over here, I'm not too sure about other places, but you had to register on a website. You had to jump through all these hoops. You had to go through this quiz by a certain amount of time to prove that you could have this shoe. And then you're in a raffle to see if you won it. Crazy. When I explain to people that know nothing about sneakers, some of my friends, that I won a sneaker raffle, they think I won the shoe for free. They don't understand that I'm essentially applying and hoping to be able to buy something. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. I was watching the Complex Con streams the other day, thinking about like the VIP tickets were like $800 US. You're paying $800 US to be able to go shopping. If you think about it like that, that's insanity. I also fly across the world to go sneaker shopping and show you sneaker shops all over the world, so go figure. But these right here, trash. I mean, they're not trash. The quality materials are there. Like, that toe cap seems like it's heat sinked on. I can't see any flaws. The process of cork is a very, very lengthy process, to the point where wine manufacturers stop using cork because of how lengthy the process is and how costly it is. But we got them in here, in the shoe. I don't know. What are you saying? Do you see the hype? For me, like, I can't even understand how there was such a backlash against Tom Sachs and everything like that for essentially what was labeled as a toxic work environment, cult-like work environment, sketchy work environment. I don't know. I wasn't there. I just read the headline, same as you guys. Nike, from what I believe, had these made already, which I cannot see a normal size tag. That's one thing I wanted to check. No, 2025. That was one of the rumors, that they already had shoes made for the next collab, as to why they had to essentially bring it back. But yeah, made in 2025. The main like appeal to these is that they're ugly. And I agree with you. They are ugly. But where does the appeal come from? Are they comfortable? They're quite heavy for what seems to be a light shoe. I don't know, man. But the question is, what am I going to do with them? I mentioned that I wanted the Undefeated 4s. I had that in my mind, to trade these for the Undefeated 4s. I'd mentioned it to someone. They even mentioned they might have someone that'd be interested in that trade. Then I mentioned it to a couple other people, and they said I would be getting the worst end of that trade. And I thought about it. I thought about how when I traded my Bread 4s and my Bread 11s for these Spider-Man joints. For me, they were everything all into one. Huge Marvel comic nerd growing up as a kid. A Chicago colorway, Jordans. What's not to love? At the time, they were going for about $1,100. Me, I don't really care about resale. I like what I like. I really like them. It was the only way I could get them. I wasn't paying $1,100. If I looked at what those two pairs were going for at that time, together was around the same time. My sales pitch was essentially, it's going to be easier to sell those two mid-ranged priced shoes than it will be for an $1,100 shoe. The guy agreed. I sent them to my man Johnny Rotten in Melbourne. He did the trade for me, authenticated them, everything like that. Great deal. I was happy. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, that's like $580 that I've spent on them. I'm happy. I wore them. Don't get me wrong. But if we're looking at it in the metric of what people are wanting for the Undefeateds, right? $500-600. Insanity. That's the only way I can get these shoes. So why then wouldn't I use the metric of what people think these are worth? And if I flip it back on what I feel like it's worth, stay with me right now. I paid $380 for these. Am I then paying $380 for the pair of the Undefeateds? When I feel like maybe people would put stuff on top. Imagine like we do that trade and then I say $380 cash on top. I've essentially got the Undefeated 4s for free. This is Sneakerhead math. Stay with me. Then I thought about the only two shoes that I really wanted this year were the Undefeated 4s and the Neon Air Max 95s. If I can get someone to trade both of those pairs for this pair, I'll do it. Because again, going off the metric of people that have the Air Max 95 willing to sell them to me, they're going for $500-600. I believe this is going for... That'd be a crazy thumbnail if I just left that. I believe people are trying to sell these like anywhere from $2,000 to $1,500, right? I don't know. Do the math with them two pairs, going off the same metric, a scale, what people are saying. That's a bargain on their end. A bargain on my end, because I think about it like I spent $380. I got two of the pairs that I wanted all year for less than $400. That's where I'm at right now with these. Outside of throwing them in a bin for a bit of clickbait. I know already the comments are going to be like, yo, retail assist, all this type of stuff. But I'm going to be honest, man. I have given so many retail assists and then gone on to see people sell them to make money off the retail assist I gave them that I've gone way off it. I'm going to be honest, like I even met Adam via giving a retail assist through Marketplace. I vetted all the people that were hitting me up because there were heaps of people, and he just seemed like a good young dude. He lived close and everything. That was sick. But then he's also sold some of those pairs. Like,
That's for UNC.
once, twice, you bought them from me.
Yeah, but I don't know how much you bought them for. I bought them twice.
Like, even he has flipped some of the stuff I've given him. Like, so before anyone comes for me saying retail assist, it ain't happening. For me, I see this moment, this opportunity as a way to get the two pairs that I wanted this year. So if you come to me with those two pairs, and they're 10.5, we can make a deal. If not, I don't know where I'll go from there. I haven't thought that far ahead, but what if you can't do the trade? What happens then? I'll just have it sit there for like till it's worth 5 pairs of shoes. I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. Just be another pair of shoes that doesn't get worn enough. If you see me with the Undefeated 4s and the Neon 95s, you know what happened. We got it done, one way or the other. But I've also thought too that they're re-releasing the Air Max 95s next year. Initially it wasn't going to be the big bubble. Now it's going to be the big bubble again. In more numbers. Do I hold off? Is there another shoe that I'm missing that I didn't get this year? Not really, bro, to be honest. I don't know. But that's where I'm at with it. This is a butt ugly shoe that seems to garner a lot of hype, mostly from like from what I hear is like New York stock bros and all that sort of thing. That's where the hype and everything from this came, because I don't know if it's the brand, but initially when the first one came out, no one cared. It's only gradually over time that the hype has been created. By the time they got to the second one, skyrocketed. Third one, hype kind of seems like it's dying off. Like the others are thousands and thousands of dollars, but I don't know. Yeah, I think they're ugly. I'm not changing my mind even though that I bought them. People are going to say, why did you buy such an ugly shoe if you didn't like them? You know why? I just explained it. I feel like it's a way for me to get my Undefeated 4s, because I ain't just pulling out $500 just to do it. So, I didn't create the game. I'm just a victim within it. But this has been another episode of Crease Heat. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back every week with brand new content. Peace. That's better. NikeCraft shoes are manufactured to the exact specifications of champion athletes throughout the world. The design and construction of NikeCraft products support all activities of your life and tell your story. NikeCraft shuns innovation for its own sake, but embraces it at a necessity. Top quality products fulfill their intended purpose while remaining as hard-wearing as possible. Before recycling, there is reuse. Before recycling, there is reuse. That doesn't make sense. Before reuse, there is ruse. Before ruse, there is durability. Is that reuse or ruse? Bro, I'm confused. This has been another episode of Crease Heat. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back twice a week. I gotta stop saying that. It's muscle memory. Occasionally I'm twice a week. Most of the time it's once a week. Although it could be twice a week this week because I got some crazy stuff in the backlog. But maybe I keep them for when I'm away. I don't know. What do you think of this? Let me know in the comments. I think it's trash. I'm not gonna throw it. I can't get over this bit though. Like, that is a crazy leather. Made in Vietnam. Seems like the best quality shoes are made in Vietnam. Maybe we go to Vietnam, see what's up. Peace.